When you look at the great religions of the world, it is sometimes very difficult to see if any of them have anything in common. Yes, we understand that certainly Christianity and Judaism share a lot of traditions. Even Islam shares some traditions with Judaism and Christianity. But when we look at Baha'is, or when we look at Buddhists or Hindus or Zoroastrians or Confucians or some of the other major world religions, it's hard to see that we share anything, with the possible exception of that we all worship some sort of a deity, some sort of a power beyond ourselves. But however, there is one very vital, important truth that all of the major religions of the world share. And it is a truth that could change our world. The Baha'i faith says it this way: "Lay not on any soul a load that you would not wish to be laid upon you, and desire not for anyone the things you would not desire for yourself." The Buddha says in his writings, "Treat not others in the ways you yourself would find hurtful." Hindus, "This is the sum of duty. Do not do to others what would cause pain if done to you." The Prophet Muhammad writes, "Not one of you truly believes until you wish for others what you wish for yourselves." The Jews, of course, find those words in the Old Testament, what we call the Old Testament. But the great Rabbi Hillel in the Talmud writes it this way: "What is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor. This is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Go and learn it." And so on, and so on, and so on, through 13 of the great religions of the world. Do unto others as you would have them do to you. Love your neighbor as yourself. It seems very simple, almost simplistic. But yet it is my contention that that one single commandment, along with loving God with everything you have, is the secret to changing the life of the entire world. Jesus reminds us of that in the Gospels. What are the two great commandments? Love God with everything you have and your neighbor as yourself. This is the whole law. Paul, in his letter to the Galatians, says the whole thing. The whole law is summed up in one statement: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And it's, as I said, it seems so incredibly simple. What's the problem with it? All of the major religions of the world that happen to be at war with each other right now all profess this. All hold this as a sacred teaching. And yet it is clear to anyone who looks around the world, who looks at the violence of war, nation fighting nation, the violence of tribal feuds, warlord against warlord, the gang violence that plagues the streets of our cities or towns, even the violence and abuse that runs through our homes. It's clear that while all of these people, billions of people, half the population of the world, more than half the population of the world, profess this one simple truth, that most of that half of the population of the world doesn't live it. Why? There are a million different excuses for it. It's too hard. It's too easy. It's too simple. It won't work. They speak a different language. They could never understand. They're too stupid. They're too smart, they're too old, they're too young, they're too fat, they're too skinny, they're too black, they're too white, they're too green, they're too purple. We can come up with an excuse, 1,000 different excuses for it. And yet, I hear very few people coming up with excuses